The Elite Retreat, Jordan, is coming up very soon. Early March 8th, I think, is the date, the new date for the Elite Retreat, the Elite Junior Retreat for the Clemson Tigers. Obviously, going to be a huge recruiting event for Clemson. 2026 recruiting cycle is in full swing. Clemson is going after a ton of players. We talked last week about all the offensive line targets that Clemson was going to go after, having 13 scholarship offers out there, and we talked about the intensity in which the coaching staff is kind of approaching this 2026 recruiting class with, because as we mentioned, because of how 2025 went down and how we lost 6-7 of our top recruits late in the cycle to other schools who just outbid and took key players in that 2025 class away. We ended up, putting together a fairly decent class, but obviously 2025 was not the class that Clemson wanted it to be. So this Elite Retreat is super important. This 2026 class, Clemson's got to autocorrect. They got to get rolling back in the right direction when it comes to recruiting. So what do you expect from this Elite Retreat? How many guys are going to be here? And how pivotal is this going to be for some of these guys' commitments when it comes to this 2026 cycle?
A great segue and great lead in. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest junior days in recent memory, just because of, you didn't take as many as you wanted this past cycle. You're going to have a lot of departures because of all the returning production, which we'll talk about later in the show as well, that you have coming back. There's going to be a lot of spots available, come 2026. And so, it's very important for this staff to hit the ground running and really get their foot in the door in some of these major prospects. We dove deep with the offensive line. That's been a point of emphasis. I think they're probably going to take 5 if they can. So, this is, Matt Luke has done a really good job of, kind of setting that board and getting it going and underway. And they're in really good position with quite a few of these guys. And I've already mentioned them, but some of the other positions, and we'll dive deeper into the position group by position group in this class, and as far as the targets are concerned. But another big name that's been on the list for a while, Clemson is very much in the running for, is 4-star cornerback Samari Matthews out of Cornelius Huff. This is a massive recruiting battle between, Clemson is involved, South Carolina, Georgia. Like this is going to be one of them. He's arguably one of the higher prioritized, targets in this class. Mike Reed has done a good job with him. And, they're trying to get back into that Charlotte area. Cornelius is probably about 40 minutes from me, give or take, just, north of Charlotte. And so Clemson is trying to get back into that Charlotte metropolitan area, and, landing a kid of the talent of Samari Matthews would be absolutely massive. And so he's been confirmed as a visitor. Offensive lineman Carter Scruggs from Leesburg, Virginia. We've already mentioned him. Clemson has, been heavily involved with him. Penn State and Georgia are also considered to be front runners in his recruitment. That's going to be a tough one, but this will be a good opportunity for Clemson to kind of, make some ground that I think they need to make up in that one. Other visitors include 4-star defensive end Kamari Brooks out of Bogart, Georgia, 4-star wide receiver Gordon Sellers out of Providence Day. We've talked about Providence Day a good bit over the past couple of cycles, a school that Clemson is trying to get back into in terms of recruiting. Obviously you lost David Sanders last cycle to Tennessee, who's, been sweeping up the Charlotte area in the past couple of cycles. But Gordon Sellers is a guy that Clemson absolutely is prioritizing, and the addition of oh goodness, I'm blanking on the North Carolina wide receiver coach that we added, but he's going to play a massive role in his recruitment as well. Dre Quinn, defensive end out of Norcross, Georgia. He is slated to attend. Offensive lineman Zion Giles, interior offensive lineman Grant Wise. You know, these are some of the guys that Clemson is heavily prioritized with. Grant Wise would be a massive get, and he's recently dropped his top 5 schools, and Clemson was included. So you know, doing a good job there. We've talked about Desmond Green, Bryce Perry White out of Buford, Georgia, another one of the top overall guys on the cycle, like in the class. This is one of the priority guys for Nick Eason and co at defensive line. I think Clemson, if I were to say right now, call it right now, I think Clemson would be the choice. But you are battling the likes of Georgia, Alabama. This is a recruitment that you're going to have to continue to work through and push for. And so when he gets to campus on March 8th, that'll set a massive precedent. He's already confirmed for his official visit weekend on May 30th as well. So would be a big get for him, for Clemson. 4-star wide receiver Naeem Burrows out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's from he attends the Bowles School. That is a private school in Jacksonville. If you Clemson has done pretty good recently with private schools in Florida. And especially out of Tampa and other Florida's metropolitan areas, Jacksonville as well. He is one of the top wide receivers in the class overall. You're battling mainly the likes of Florida for his services, the in-state school. I think Clemson has a really good shot. They've done a really good job in his recruitment. So this March 8th date is going to be paramount. He's already confirmed his official visit. Let's see. Contavion Anderson, in-state player, goes by Polo. I love that nickname. From Roebuck, South Carolina, and he plays at Dorman. This is a kid that I think Clemson needs to get. I think this is a Clemson South Carolina battle. He's expressed throughout his recruitment how much he likes Clemson. He's called it his dream school at different points, his dream offer at different points. Clemson was kind of slow, kind of getting the offer out to him, but they have squarely gained ground on South Carolina, and I think Clemson has a really good shot of ending up winning this recruitment. But again, this is a massive date for him to come in and potentially for Clemson to kind of sow the seeds, so to speak, and continue to further as he gets closer to a decision. Let's see. Chancellor Barkley, Clemson, I think, is trending really well there. He's expected to attend as well. Caden Gebhardt, the safety from Lewis Center, Ohio. 4-star. I think this is a kid that Clemson absolutely needs to land. I think he's a Clemson kid to a T, and I think Clemson has done a good job with him so far. He's confirmed that he will be at the official visit weekend as well. A couple of new additions to the elite retreat in 4-star linebacker Sincere Johnson. He recently dropped a top 5 that includes the likes of Ohio State and Clemson, USC. He just I think that Clemson, as far as the linebacker position is concerned, needs to get involved with some big time linebacker prospects because they've kind of been behind the 8 ball, with the turnover from Wes Goodwin and the addition of Tom Allen and now Ben Boulware being inserted as that main recruiter role. He's had to make up some ground and kind of get his foot in the door on some kids. Right. And so this is going to be massive because I think Clemson is kind of all the positions that Clemson needs to gain the most ground on right now. I think it's linebacker because they have not gotten their foot in the door, so to speak, with a lot of big time guys as of now. So Sincere Johnson, is good that he's giving you a look and you were able to work your way into his top 5. We'll see how much the March 8th date can move the needle for him. And then the newest addition to the elite retreat is a 3-star edge, Kamarian Johnson, who Clemson is, they added late to the list when their other target, Samode Kotoanga, who just recently committed to
Samode.
Yeah. To recently committed to USC. So this would be another big addition for Clemson's defensive line group and the edge group in particular. So we'll see kind of how that plays out. But that's kind of the rundown. We'll continue to update you guys as we, next week, especially, we'll kind of give the final look